Last week, we analyzed how you can connect Slack to Notion so that you can send automatic updates from a Notion database to your Slack channel or your Slack account directly. Today, we're looking at how you can implement that same exact concept in Coda. In particular, using a Coda table, and in this use case, we're looking at sending Slack messages on a channel or on an account whenever a task is overdue. We're going to use buttons. We're going to also use automations to achieve all of that within Coda. So let's get started. And the first step to understanding how Coda connects to Slack is understanding Coda packs. Coda packs are built on top of Coda, and they are extensions of your Coda docs. There are Coda packs for many apps out there and tools that you might already use. But if you know JavaScript and you can develop, you can also create your own custom packs, because the Coda pack language is available for anyone who wants to create packs, and it is based on JavaScript, although it has some specific, unique syntax rules to follow that are quite intuitive and that are well documented on the official Coda website. So in this example, we are using the Slack pack to extend our Coda doc and send reminders to a Slack channel. To do that, we are using a table that is a task table, and I got this table from the Slack plus Coda doc that you can find online, available to anyone, just so that we can see this use case with a well-defined table. And you can see this table is composed of tasks. Then we have the priority. This is a scale column type where we have the fire, and the max is 3. We have the status, a select option, the due date, the assigned person, notes, the overdue reminder, that's a button that you can push manually, but that we can also automate to send reminders to Slack. And then we have the task URL, and this is useful because by having this, we can link to the task directly in Slack whenever we send that reminder to the Slack channel or account. And this task URL is a formula, and you can see that's the syntax, this row dot object link, and that outputs the URL of that row. And we're going to use this dynamically in the overdue reminder button that is set up just like this, remind. Then we have post message, and this is an action that you have that you can select from the last option, that is packs. Then you have Slack, and you have post message. So you will need to connect your Slack workspace in the first place to have this action available. And we are looking at that in a minute. Then you have this user's private Slack account, which is an option that I chose because I just want to have this Slack account here. And we have the content of the message, and that's a concatenation of strings. So we have hey plus this row dot assigned to, that is this column here, dot name to get the name of the person. And we're going to split so that we only have the first name. And then we have, looks like the plus task, that's the task name here, is overdue. Plus, we use the task URL to send a direct link to the task so that that person can click on that task and update the status or do whatever needed to update that task. So to make everything works, we need to connect our Coda pack in this doc. To do that, we can go on the insert menu, and we can do packs, and we can type Slack. You will find the Slack pack here. You can open it, and you will need to go through settings and do your authentication process just like you would in any other app. Follow the flow, and it's going to be very easy and intuitive. And once you have everything set up, you will then be able to use this pack and all the components of this pack in your doc. And you can use the slash command, pack, and you can see we have this Slack pack here. When you choose this Slack pack, you will have some templates available here on the right hand side. Then you have some tables that you can sync, such as all your users in the Slack workspace that you just connected, all your channels in that workspace. And then you have some buttons, actions to create a channel, post a message, which is the action that we are using in our reminder button, join channel, and you can see all the other options available. And an additional thing that you want to notice here is that in the button settings, we have a channel that you can type as quotes, hashtag, and then the name of the channel. Otherwise, you can also use the email, and you can see here an example. And we also have a disabled rule, that is, this button can't be clicked if the status is done or if the due date is earlier than 5 days ago. So if I go here and I change the due date to the 18th, you would see the button is disabled. That's because it is less than 5 days ago. Whereas if I go on the 16th, for example, there you go, you have the remind button available again. So let's test this out, first by pushing the button. Then I'm going to explain this button here, and then we are going to look at how you can set up an automation to make this one automatically for you and push all the buttons of the overdue tasks automatically. So let's click this button. And I will go to Slack, and I see here is the message right now. Hey, name. Looks like the test task is overdue. And I have the link to the task right here, which I can click to open that task directly here. The next step is that when you have multiple tasks, you might want to use a bulk action or a bulk button to push all the remind buttons that are activated in your table. And that's how this push button works. So I created it using the /push buttons option. And you would see, if I right click on it, you will see that's the label, and the action is push buttons. And you want to push the tasks overdue reminder button, that is this one here. And then I set it to large, gave it a color as well as the Slack icon. And that's all there is to it. And if you have multiple tasks, and if I push this button, these two buttons are going to be pushed automatically at the same time for me, and two external actions are going to be performed. So if I go to Slack, I will find those actions there. The first one here and the second one here. And finally, you can automate the pushing of the buttons through the native Coda automation. And you can do that by going to Document Settings, Automations. We can add a rule. We can call this Push Task Reminders. And we want to trigger this, let's say, time-based. That is every week on Monday at 9 AM. And the action is push buttons. And the buttons to push are the overdue reminder buttons that are active. So we can test this rule right now. And you will see we have two new items right here. Again, test task and test task 2. And you need to make sure that you activate this automation to ensure that it runs on a weekly basis automatically. And that is it, really. This is only one tiny way that you can integrate your Coda docs with Slack by sending a message for overdue tasks. And the use cases can be widely almost infinite based on your imagination, your specific workflows that you can create using the Slack pack in Coda. Feel free to drop any comments or questions that you might have down below. Thanks for watching for now, and see you soon.